I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's good my bros, what's poppin'? UFC 287, Israel Adesanya taking on Alex Pereira in the main event. I cannot wait. Right, so guys, looking at my bets on the last card, it wasn't too good. And Manel Cape being off the card, it kinda screwed me over. Preston Parsons, that was a loss. Venetia Salvador, that guy thinks he's Anderson Silva. I'm not going to bet on Vinicius again. But yeah, we jump into Money City before we get into breaking down UFC 287. Hey, if you see your name on the screen, you are a Money City champion. And we honour the Money City champions with the blunt. We spark up for the gang. If the gang's making money, hey, you spark up. Alright, we jump into breaking down UFC 287. As always guys, if you've got your Money City play, drop it down below. Hashtag your comment, Money City. And as always, if you enjoy the breakdowns, enjoy the predictions, make sure you like my stuff. Alright, let's go. Alright guys, first matchup on this card, we've got Sam Hughes taking on Jaqueline and Amorim. Now this matchup's interesting because we know Sam Hughes is pretty tough. You know, she's not a high level striker, she's not a high level wrestler. You know, she's the type of fighter that kind of wants to push you against the fence, make the fight ugly. But in terms of skill, Sam Hughes is not a high level boxer, she's not a high level kicker. On the flip side, Amorim has really good jiu-jitsu. Her jiu-jitsu is super good. You know, 4 fights in LFA and 4 first round submissions. You know, she's showing us, look, my jiu-jitsu is very good. So yeah, this one's interesting in terms of like skill and experience, because the skill goes to Amorim, whereas the experience, the toughness, that goes to Sam Hughes. So really it's going to come down to, can Sam Hughes stay off the mat? And can she cause some problems for the specialist? You know, we don't really know what it looks like with Amorim when she's made to fight past the first round. And we don't know what it looks like if she's made to fight, you know, in the stand-up. But guys, is Sam Hughes really going to show us that? Like, is she going to stay off the mat? Is she going to keep Amorim on the feet? In my opinion, probably not. I'm going to side with Amorim to find a first round submission against Sam Hughes. Alright, moving into a matchup between Steve Garcia taking on Shayilan Nuerdanbieke. Now this one's quite a difficult prediction to make. Steve Garcia absolutely dusted Chase Hooper. Like complete dusteration. But then again, we know Chase Hooper has some of the worst striking defense anyone could have. You know, his striking's bad, his striking defense is even worse. Now guys, Shayilan Nuerdanbieke is a wrestler, but his striking isn't exactly bad. Like, his boxing fundamentals are pretty good. Steve Garcia could potentially have more output on the feet though. Right, you look at the way he's firing off all the combinations against Chase Hooper, you know, a lot of output. Or Nuerdanbieke could take Garcia to the mat, but then again, Steve Garcia isn't exactly a bad grappler himself. You know, he completely mauled Sideshow Bob, Charlie Ontiveros. Yeah, to be honest guys, I do believe this matchup is pretty 50-50, and if I was gonna bet, I would advise the underdog as the side to bet, and that's gonna be Steve Garcia at plus 170. I think the line's a little bit wide. You know, Steve Garcia is not great, you know, he's kind of reckless, but the output might be, you know, more noticeable on the feet. And in terms of grappling, you know, Steve Garcia is not a bad grappler. He's not the same type of wrestler as Shayilan Nuerdanbieke, but his jiu-jitsu's pretty good, you know, he's okay at grappling. So yeah, I think this matchup's 50-50, and I'm gonna advise the underdog, Steve Garcia, as the play. Alright, moving into a matchup between Trey Ogden taking on Ignacio Bahamondes. Now guys, Trey Ogden was supposed to fight Manuel Torres, but he's now scheduled to fight Bahamondes, and this is a way more difficult matchup. You know, Ignacio doesn't really load up on power the same way Manuel Torres loads up. So there's not really a chance of Ignacio fatiguing, whereas Manuel Torres really loads up on power, and we know that after you throw a few of those shots, you do get tired. Ignacio's really technical, you know, big for the weight class, really good with his kicks. This is a difficult matchup for Trey Ogden. Guys, the only way I can really see Trey Ogden doing well is just utilising the grappling. You know, all of Trey Ogden's stoppages are by submission. So more than likely, if he wants to do well in this matchup or even win this matchup, more than likely he does have to grapple with Ignacio Bahamondes, you know, take him to the mat, take him away from the striking. And there's a chance that Trey Ogden could do that. You know, he probably should do that, but yeah, I've got to side with Ignacio Bahamondes to win this matchup. Yeah, I just think the striking of Ignacio is very good. You know, he's big, he's a good kicker, he's technical, he's tough. He's quick. Yeah, if Trey Ogden doesn't bring Ignacio to the mat, I don't see him finding the same success that he found against Daniel Zalhuba, you know, with those calf kicks. I think more than likely Ignacio's gonna be the one to win the stand-up. He's gonna win the striking matchup. And that's what I really see with this matchup. So I'm gonna side with Ignacio to win this fight. Alright, moving into the next matchup, we've got Cynthia Calvillo taking on Loopy Godinez. This is a good matchup. Now this is gonna be grappler versus grappler. Both Cynthia Calvillo and Loopy Godinez are really, really good grapplers. And that's really what both girls want to do. You know, when Cynthia goes to the octagon, she's looking to use her BJJ. And when Loopy Godinez goes to the octagon, she's looking to wrestle the opponent. So you've got two really good grapplers. I think the biggest difference with this matchup is probably the striking. You know, the striking and the willingness to fight. And also, who's more in their physical prime. I think all of these things are going to be siding with Loopy Godinez. You know, Loopy's more in her prime, whereas you look at Cynthia Calvillo, she's not really looked good in her last few fights. I also mentioned the willingness to fight. You know, if this matchup's on the feet and both girls, you know, they're not grappling, I think Loopy's more willing to fight. You know, just look at Cynthia Calvillo when she can't get the grappling going. Her striking's pretty bad. So yeah, guys, I think the prime is more with Loopy. I think the willingness to fight is more with Loopy. And I also think if both girls can't grapple, the striking is also with Loopy. So yeah, I would be quite shocked if Loopy Godinez lost to a 35-year-old Cynthia Calvillo. So my prediction is going to be Loopy Godinez to win this matchup. Dominant decision win or even a stoppage. Moving into a matchup between Karl Williams taking on Chase Sherman. Now guys, this is a heavyweight matchup and we know with heavyweights it can be quite volatile, kind of similar with women's mixed martial arts. It's okay to bet heavyweights, it's okay to bet women's mixed martial arts, but you don't really want to be betting on big lines. Now guys, having said that, look at Karl Williams in his UFC debut just a few weeks ago. It was a really, really good performance. You know, basically mauled Lucas Bresky, a super dominant performance. And it kind of gives me confidence to say Karl Williams is probably going to do the same thing to Chase Sherman. You know, just a ragdoll performance. Now guys, on the flip side, Sherman's had 14 UFC fights. 14. And out of those 14 fights, he's won 4. So yeah, Chase Sherman does have good experience, but it kind of appears that most of his experience is in losing. You know, he's an experienced loser. And guys, I kind of think after Saturday, he's going to have even more experience with losing because I do believe Karl Williams is going to ragdoll Chase Sherman. And that's got to be my prediction, you know. Karl Williams gets Chase Sherman to the mat and it's a dominant performance. So yeah, takedown city for Karl Williams to dominate this fight. He's probably going to smash Chase Sherman. That's got to be my pick. Alright, moving into a matchup between GM3 taking on Joe Pyfer. Now guys, GM3... he's not that good, in my opinion. He's not that good. However, despite not being good in my opinion, his jiu-jitsu is very good. I'll give him credit for his jiu-jitsu. You know, he's kind of like a Paul Craig. Very average in most areas, but his jiu-jitsu, it kind of saves him. Now guys, GM3 did do a pretty nice job against Bruno Silva in his last matchup. You know, he was using the kicks really nicely, avoiding the power shots. He was doing okay on the feet. And GM3 even got a stoppage on the feet. You know, he did go to the mat and finish with a submission, but he did knock down Bruno Silva. Guys, I did notice with GM3 that he kind of leans back with his chin right up in the air. You know, some of the punches of Bruno Silva were just falling short and GM3 would kind of lean back. And his chin's right up in the air. But yeah, good performance from GM3 overall against Bruno Silva. His main striking weapons are like the rear kicks. You know, the left kick to the body, the left kick to the calf. And that's something the opponent of GM3 has to watch out for. Because essentially GM3 is going to use the kicks to try to maintain the distance on the feet. Now guys, on the flip side, Joe Pyfer is a much, much better boxer. Like his combinations, his speed, his power, his jab. His boxing is much better than GM3. Obviously his jiu-jitsu's not as good, but his wrestling isn't bad. You know, Joe isn't a fish out of water on the mat. And if it goes to the mat, Joe's got to show that. You know, look to scramble, look to create space, look to get back to the fence. Guys, I think GM3 is a fighter that you can never fully count out. But I would count him out around 70% of the time in this matchup. And because of that, I'm going to be siding with body bags Joe Pyfer. I like his boxing. I like his speed, I like his power. And I think GM3 could potentially find it difficult to get Joe Pyfer to the mat. And if it stays on the feet, I think the boxing is going to be the main difference. So yeah, I'm going to side with Joe Pyfer to find a stoppage. Moving into a matchup between Michelle Waterson taking on Luana Pinheiro. Now this one's quite interesting, guys, because I've watched a lot of tape. Quite a bit of tape, and I want to see if Michelle Waterson's a good bet at plus 150, and that's why I've watched a lot of tape on this matchup. Now guys, Michelle Waterson has the experience. You know, she's pretty quick with her footwork, her kickboxing ability is pretty good. But guys, the downside of Michelle Waterson is she's nearly 37 years old, or she is 37 years old. It's also going to be pretty difficult for Michelle Waterson to clinch with Pinheiro. You know, Pinheiro's got the judo background. She's very good when you clinch up. She'll just throw you to the mat. I'm not really sure why Michelle Waterson would want to clinch with Luana Pinheiro, but if she did, she's probably going to find it difficult to score there. You know, she's going to be thrown to the mat. Now, guys, another downside for Michelle Waterson would be she doesn't really want to get into a boxing match with Luana Pinheiro. And that's purely because Luana Pinheiro's got power. Like, this girl's a big puncher and Michelle Waterson's not really a big puncher. So she doesn't really want to get into the pocket. So more than likely, Michelle Waterson isn't going to be able to clinch, and she's not going to be able to get into boxing range, you know, into the pocket. See, I'm going to say the underdog, the plus money on Michelle Waterson. I was looking at it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think she's going to win this matchup. You know, Luana Pinheiro, she's got power. She's good in the clinch. She's really quick. I think the one real downside for Pinheiro is cardio's not good. You know, she kind of gets tired. But even with bad cardio, I do believe she's probably going to win 2 rounds against Michelle Waterson. So yeah, the prediction's got to be the favourite, the Brazilian Luana Pinheiro, to win against an aging Michelle Waterson. Moving into a matchup between KG taking on Chris Curtis. This is good matchmaking. Really, really good matchmaking. Now guys, KG's fought elite competition for years. Like, he's fought killers. And in all fairness, he's probably not the same guy that fought against Israel Adesanya a few years ago. Arguably not the same. But there is no criticising the level of competition that KG has competed against. You know, Adesanya, Darren Till when Darren Till was good, Jack Hermansson, Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier. You know, there's no criticising the competition KG has competed against. All of those are losses, but those are killers. Now guys, Chris Curtis has got power. You see that against Phil Hawes, you see that against Brendan Allen, you see that against Buckley. Even if Chris Curtis is being outmatched in a round, you know, being outpointed, his power is always there. You know, he's very, very powerful. Now guys, I do want to speak about Chris when he lost to Jack Hermansson. You know, he lost this matchup in London, but I don't really see KG being able to do the same things that Jack done in that matchup. And essentially what Jack done was utilise good footwork, utilise the range, and kept Chris at the end of the kicks. And he was able to really frustrate the opponent by doing that, but KG doesn't really have that style. You know, looking at KG is more of a boxer. You know, he's not going to use kicks to keep you at the end of the range. So looking at the matchup from like a stylistic point of view, I do believe it's a good matchup. You know, Chris Curtis is going to get his opportunities to throw down. And KG's obviously going to be there to throw down. You know, he's very tough. He's not going to shy away from a fight. I do believe it's pretty close to 50-50. If Chris Curtis connects, he might be able to TKO KG. And that's quite an interesting thing to say because typically KG doesn't get stopped. You know, this guy doesn't get stopped. We can also mention the wrestling of KG, even though the takedown defense of Chris Curtis is pretty good. You know, he doesn't typically get taken to the mat. So yeah, this matchup's pretty close to 50-50. It is one of the best matchups on the card. Hey guys, you put the gun to the head. OG style, gun to the head. I'm going KG. I'm picking KG. Hey guys, if you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, that's a double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoyed the smoke breaks, that's always been a triple amen. Let's go. Hey guys, to anyone that's in California or LA, Los Angeles, let me know if you smoked this strain. I've only got a little bit left of this strain and I can't smoke too much because I'm gonna go to sleep. This strain it's lethal. You know what I'm saying? The THC on this strain it's a madness. I'm not gonna lie, I do wish the UK was like more like America, where you can go to a dispensary, go to a coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? That would be sick. If you had like full menus, you know what I'm saying? That would be dope. But yeah, if you're in Los Angeles, let me know if you've ordered some of this. Like, this is a good strain. This is proper. I went onto their website and literally you can just order this stuff. If you're in Cali, my goodness, you're living life. You're living. And hopefully this strain can give me the insight to make some good bets. So let's go. Moving into a matchup between Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Christian Rodriguez. So this is going to be Quagmire's Mexican son, aka Werner Jandiroba's little bro. Man, Raul Rosas Jr., this guy's a killer. This guy is seriously good. And guys, I know Raul Rosas Jr. is only like 18 years old, but you look at the game plan, it's very, very clear. You know, be strong on the takedown. And he really is, you know, when he enters for the takedown, he's very, very strong. Once he gets the takedown, it's like elite jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu is very, very good. And really, you do need to have like good jiu-jitsu if you're going to compete with Raul Rosas Jr. Because if you don't, you're probably going to get subbed the moment he gets you to the mat. And taking a look at Christian Rodriguez, he was taken to the mat by Jonathan Pierce. And there's no shame in being taken to the mat by JSP. You know, JSP's a very, very good grappler. However, guys, if you look at the fight against Joshua Weems, he was taken to the mat by Joshua, which is a little bit shameful. Now, Christian Rodriguez could potentially cause some problems for Raul Rosas Jr. if he can stay off the mat, you know, but I think it's quite unlikely. So yeah, in my opinion, guys, Raul Rosas Jr. is very, very strong on his takedown entry. And I think once he gets you to the mat, he's probably going to wrap you up like a blunt. And I think he does do that to Christian Rodriguez in round 1 or even round 2. So yeah, my prediction's going to be Quagmire's son, Werner Jandiroba's little bro, round 1, round 2 submission for Raul Rosas Jr. That's got to be my pick. Moving into a matchup between the homie Kevin Home Alone Holland taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. Hey guys, light the blunt for Kevin Holland. Now guys, Kevin Holland is one of my favourite fighters. Big Mouth is a fan favourite. You know, he's coming off a loss to Wonderboy where he basically got taught a striking lesson. But yeah, Wonderboy will do that. You know, Wonderboy is going to show you, look, this is how you strike, this is how you kick. Wonderboy's been doing that for years. Now guys, Kevin Holland is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but his wrestling is very, very poor. It's very bad. And his takedown defense is pretty bad too. But looking at Santiago Ponzinibbio, this guy's more of a brawler. You know, he's not really a grappler. And that really shouldn't be an issue for Kevin Holland with this matchup. You know, Kevin's not going to have to really defend takedowns. Now, guys, it is worth noting with Santiago Ponzinibbio, he's not in his physical prime. He's not in his physical prime. He's nearly 37 years old. And to be honest, he was getting outworked by Alex Morono in his last fight until he eventually lands this big right hand. I think more than likely with this matchup, Santiago's probably going to find it difficult to find his range against a rangy opponent in Kevin Holland. You know, if Ponzinibbio can find the chin, then all the credit. Like all the credit, especially at this point in his UFC career. I do think it's unlikely though. You know, I would have to side with Kevin to win this matchup. I just think the range, the kicks are going to be difficult to get past for Santiago. You know, if Santiago Ponzinibbio is finding it difficult against Alex Morono, he's probably going to find it even more difficult against a rangy opponent. And that's why I'm going to side with the homie, the Trailblazer, to potentially get a stoppage. Moving into the next matchup, we've got Rob Font taking on Adrian Yanez. Guys, how excited are you for this 135 matchup? This is a good matchup. You know, you've got two very, very legit boxers. Rob Font is known for his boxing. He's known for his display of the jab. his ability to outbox the opponent. You know, his boxing is very, very good, but you have to look at the damage that Rob Font has taken, you know, in his most recent fights. You know, his boxing is very, very good, but look at the damage that Rob Font has taken in his most recent 2 fights. It's a little bit concerning, and Rob Font is also 36 years old now. And that's a little bit concerning too. So guys, even though Rob Font's got really, really good boxing, it's going to be difficult or impossible to outrun aging. And it's also pretty impossible to outrun accumulative damage. You know, those 2 things you can't really get away from. So Rob Font is getting older, and the damage he's taking is a little bit concerning. You know, Vera really damaged him. Now guys, on the flip side, Adrian Yanez is a very special boxer. You know, the boxing is super good, just like Rob Font. Guys, both Rob Font and Adrian Yanez are really good boxers, but they're kind of different. You know, Rob Font really likes to be the aggressor, stay in your face, use the jab. Whereas Adrian Yanez is more of a counter boxer. He wants the opponent to like overextend, be aggressive, and then he's going to look for counter shots. Both of these guys are really good boxers. If you're a fan of boxing, you're going to be a fan of this matchup. There is a possibility that Rob Font could mix in some wrestling. I hope he doesn't. Because I'd love to see these two just box. And that's what I'm really hoping for. You know, Rob Font does have the experience. He could look to take the fight to the mat, but Rob Font's a boxer. And I hope Rob Font is looking to box with Adrian Yanez, because if he is, this is a great boxing matchup. Guys, in a really, really close matchup, I'm going to side slightly with Adrian Yanez. I just think the damage that Rob Font has taken in his most recent fights is a little bit concerning, and I think Rob Font has also got a dusty chin, and Adrian Yanez could potentially show us that in this matchup. So I'm going to side with Adrian Yanez to win this fight. Moving into the co-main event, we've got Gilbert Dorino Burns taking on Jorge Masvidal. This is a good matchup. However, guys, I do want to start this breakdown by saying Masvidal said if he loses this matchup, he's probably going to retire. And that's something to note, because if you're going to put your money on Jorge Masvidal, you're going to be putting your money on somebody that's basically retired. You know, Masvidal's got his own fighting promotion. He's got his money, and he's saying he's going to be done if he doesn't win the matchup. So yeah, you don't really want to hear that if you're laying money on Jorge Masvidal. Now guys, thinking of ways that Masvidal would win this matchup, the only real way to beat Burns, the only real way to do it is you've got to avoid the mat. And I know some people are going to speak about like Masvidal's experience, he's a good grappler, he's got good takedown defense. All of these things are true. They're all true. But even if you're experienced and you've got the grappling, you still don't want to play jiu-jitsu with Gilbert Burns. You don't want to do that. You know, even when Hamzat took Burns to the mat, Burns tried to wrap him up and Hamzat got back to the feet. So the real way to beat Gilbert Burns is not to play jiu-jitsu. You don't want to go to the mat. Guys, in a pure striking matchup, the betting line is off. Like, the betting line is really off if this fight stays on the feet. But that's really what it comes down to. Like, can Masvidal stop the jiu-jitsu of Gilbert Burns? Because if he can't, he's not going to win the matchup. I know he's experienced, I know he's got good takedown defense, but if he can't show that, if this goes to the mat, it's a wrap. Guys, do I advise betting Burns at like minus 500? Absolutely not. But if you put your money on Masvidal, it's also a risk because he's ready to retire. So really, this one's going to be a fun fight. I'm going to side with Burns. But in my opinion, I don't give Burns more than a 65 to 70% chance. And the bookie's asking for like over 80%, which is no way. Not against Gamebred. But yeah, this one should be fun. I'm going to side with Gilbert Burns. Alright, the main event, we've got Alex Pereira taking on Israel Adesanya. Right guys, to start this breakdown, I want to start by stating some facts. Let's start with some facts. And then after we've stated some facts, we're going to speak about their most recent fight. Now guys, it's a fact that Alex Pereira's fought Adesanya 3 times, and 3 times Pereira's won. Maybe you can look at their first kickboxing matchup and score that for Adesanya, but it's a fact. You know, you look at the resumes, 3 for 3 is Alex Pereira. It's also a fact that 2 times out of 3, Alex Pereira has stopped Israel Adesanya. He's TKO'd Izzy 2 times. Guys, it's pretty clear to me that Pereira is somebody that's got Israel's number. You know, 3 for 3. It's pretty undeniable. Alex Pereira's got Izzy's number. However, guys, just because Pereira's won 3 out of 3 doesn't mean he's going to win the 4th. That's crazy, but it's true. It's pretty clear to me that Adesanya was going to win a decision against Pereira before he got TKO'd in round 5. You know, it's pretty clear that Israel was going to win over 25 minutes. I think most of us would agree with the scorecard, right? But we didn't get the scorecard. Guys, it's also clear to me that Adesanya and Pereira are equally matched. You know, both of these guys are really, really good kickers. Both of them really understand the striking game. You know, they're equally matched. Now, you could make the point that Alex Pereira's more powerful, right? So there's not a match in power. You could say Pereira's got more power, which I wouldn't really disagree with. You know, looking at Alex Pereira with the lead hook is so dangerous. One of the best lead hooks in the whole of the UFC. And Israel Adesanya knows that. You know, he's not going to overextend. He's not going to find himself eating that lead hook. Now, guys, speaking a little bit about Alex Pereira, he's not going to find it easy again to land his strikes against Israel Adesanya. And that's because Adesanya understands what Alex Pereira's trying to do. Essentially, they're both playing chess. You know, this is like high-level chess with dire consequences. It's pretty much the highest level of kickboxing that you're gonna get inside the octagon. Now, guys, last time round I did cap Adesanya around 65%, and I also said that if Adesanya does lose this matchup, it's gonna look like Leon Edwards and Usman. And it's pretty funny because that did happen. You know, he did get TKO'd in round 5. It wasn't funny at the time though, because I had a bet on Adesanya, and it's not even funny now, to be honest. Now, guys, like I said, I capped Adesanya around 65%, and based on the fight that I did see, I'm going to keep him around the same percentage. I'm going to put him at 60% for this matchup. And I know some people might say, well, that doesn't really make sense considering Pereira's fought him 3 times and beat him 3 times. So how are you giving the edge to Adesanya? You know, anyone that makes that point, it's pretty difficult to argue against that point. You know, it's pretty difficult. The only way I could really argue against that point is saying, you know, Adesanya looks like he's winning the fight. He is winning the fight until he's not. You know, that was the case in the last fight. Adesanya was about to win a 25-minute decision, and then he gets a low kick checked, and that's where it all starts to unfold. So yeah, even though Pereira's won 3 out of 3, I do believe his chances are still less than Adesanya's. Personally, I'd say Pereira's got like a 40% chance, maybe 45%. And guys, that 40%, that 45% it's not a submission, it's not a decision, it's a TKO, it's a stoppage. So guys, for me, I'm gonna side with Israel Adesanya. Hey guys, Israel Adesanya may be 0-3, but guys, you know what they say about revenge. Revenge ain't got no expiry date. April 8th. Let's go. Alright guys, as always, eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Drop down your MoneyCity comments. Peace.